Basil. Mmm, so fragrant, great on pizza, or throw some into a salad. Oh, excuse me. This isn't a cooking video. The young lady here, though, she must love basil, right? She's really cradling that pot. But does basil usually get this much affection? Well, that's because something dear to her is in the pot. Like a lover's head. But first, let's meet the young lady. This is Isabella, wealthy, well-born, and under the watchful eye of her 3 brothers who run the family business. The guy offering oranges to Isabella, though, is not her brother, but her lover, Lorenzo. But as these stories often go, Isabella's family, mainly her brothers, don't like Lorenzo as her match. Because he works for them. They think their sister is destined to marry a nobleman, not their employee. So, they concoct a plan to make Lorenzo go away for good. A few days later, Lorenzo accompanies the brothers on a business trip. Just a routine trip, nothing out of the ordinary. Except this time, he doesn't come back. The brothers return home, thinking that's the end of their problem. But of course, Isabella asks about Lorenzo. Her brothers assure her, hey, don't worry, he's just tied up with work, he'll be back soon. Days pass, but still no Lorenzo. And then one night, he appears in Isabella's dream. My love, do not call for me, for I am dead. Your brothers did it, and by the way, I am buried here. Miraculously, Isabella not only remembers her dream in the morning, but she also finds the very place where Lorenzo is buried. She and her maid dig, find the body, and realizing that she cannot bring the body back in full, she brings only the head. Back home in her room, she quietly places the linen-covered head in a large planting pot. Then she fills it with dirt and plants basil, all the while kissing the pot and crying her eyes out. The crying part is essential because she decides only to use her tears and rose water to tend to the head, basil, which grows exceptionally lush and fragrant. You could say it was because of her constant care, but probably something else in the pot was doing the heavy lifting. And her brothers? Of course, they're suspicious of Isabella's sudden fixation on the basil plant. But who would ever suspect what's actually in the pot? Okay, at this point, you may have some questions about this story. I'll start with one. Where in the world did this story come from? The short answer is the Decameron. It's a 14th century book of stories by Boccaccio, written right after the Black Death wiped out more than half of Europe. Boccaccio looked around at all that death one day and thought, people need distraction fast. The result? 100 stories that are funny, cruel, sexy, and often downright disturbing. And if you don't mind disturbing in the best way possible, I have another Decameron story video, where Botticelli painted it beautifully, but the story itself, completely unhinged. And once you know that context, Isabella's Pot of Basil fits right in. But here's the strange part. Isabella's story has far more dramatic moments that could have been painted. And yet, when artists set out to depict it, they kept choosing this quiet moment with basil. Which honestly, thanks. Thanks a lot, artists. I will never look at a pot of basil the same way ever again. But Isabella isn't the only Decameron story where artists skipped the crime and painted what came after. The tale of Gismonda and Guiscardo is another story of forbidden love, and it leads to the same unsettling calm. Gismonda is the only daughter of a powerful prince who is overly invested in his daughter's personal life. So when she's widowed and returns home, he makes it very clear that remarriage is not on the table. So Gismonda takes a lover instead. His name is Guiscardo, and unfortunately, he isn't a nobleman, but her father's valet. Yep, yet another employee, which in Decameron is never a good sign. Nevertheless, they meet in secret, beneath the palace, using a hidden passage connected to Gismonda's room. It works, until one day, her father comes looking for her, sits down, and falls asleep. But he wakes up just in time to overhear everything. How Gismonda never notices him though? We don't know. It was dark, she was distracted. Later, her father confronts her. And Gismonda doesn't deny it. She doesn't beg. She explains that she is young, she loves Guiscardo, and if punishment is coming, it should fall on her. Her father doesn't like that, and secretly arranges for Guiscardo's death. And then, because subtlety is clearly not the goal here, he sends Gismonda a final keepsake, a golden cup, and inside it, the heart of Guiscardo. If that didn't make you forget about the Black Plague, I'm not sure what would. And just like Isabella with her pot of basil, artists don't show Gismonda breaking down. She doesn't panic, she doesn't recoil. She holds the cup or heart calmly, almost resolutely. Once again, the violence isn't shown, it's already been absorbed, and is simply made to feel calm. And that calm is doing more work than we think. To most people, these paintings would have been taken at face value. A woman with a cup, a woman tending a plant. But for anyone who knew the story, the image carries something else entirely. The violence was still there, it just didn't announce itself. And that is the brilliance of these paintings. They work on two levels at once, one for viewers who see only what's painted, and another for viewers who recognize what's being withheld. And now you are in that second group. Which is kind of awkward because now it's just a painting of a woman and her plant. And you are the one doing the imagining. You're welcome.